All right, let's just get right into this. Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer where we take those super dense, complex ideas and make them, well, crystal clear. Look, if you've ever stared blankly at a biology textbook, totally panicked about how you're ever going to remember all those complicated names, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're pulling from some fantastic source material by educator Abhishek, and we're going to decode a literal 60-second secret to mastering the amino acids. This isn't just about staring at a list until your eyes blur. It's about unlocking a mental framework that makes retention totally effortless. So seriously, grab a pen and some paper, because this is going to be incredibly practical. I mean, let's be honest, we've all been there, right? You're cramming for exams, the clock is just ticking away, and you are staring down this absolute nightmare of a vocabulary list. Biology is fascinating, it really is, but the sheer volume of memorization, it can feel like you're trying to learn a completely new language overnight. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by this, that is totally valid. But here's the good news. You really don't need a photographic memory to ace this stuff. You just need the right strategy. And that strategy, it actually starts with just one number, 20. Out of all the wild, vast complexity in the biological world, there are literally just 20 amino acids. Think of them kind of like Lego blocks. Just 20 specific, tiny little blocks combine, twist, and fold in all these different ways to create every single protein in the human body. From your muscle fibers to your skin tissue, right down to the enzymes digesting your breakfast, it all comes down to these 20 fundamental building blocks. It's actually an incredibly elegant system when you think about it. But, and this is a massive but, here's the catch. Your body is a brilliant factory, no doubt about it, but it is not a fully self-sufficient one. This is exactly what trips up so many students. Even though your body desperately needs all 20 of these amino acids to function, it actually lacks the internal machinery to manufacture every single one of them from scratch. Basically, it needs outside help. Which brings us to the absolutely crucial categorization you need to understand. We divide these 20 amino acids into two distinct buckets, essential and non-essential. Let's clear this up right now. Non-essential does not mean you don't need them. It just simply means your body is perfectly capable of making them on its own internally. You don't even have to think about them. But essential, that means your body absolutely cannot synthesize them. It is strictly essential that you get these specific amino acids externally, through the food on your plate or through supplements. And right here is where the headache starts for most students. You're tasked with remembering which ones are essential. And they have these incredibly intimidating, highly technical names. I mean, look at these. Phenylalanine, Threonine. Trying to just brute force memorize a list of 10 words like this without any structured system, it's practically impossible. Your brain naturally just doesn't want to hold on to random syllables that don't connect to some sort of meaningful pattern. Well, scratch the brute force, because we are not doing that today. Instead, we're going to use what our source material brilliantly calls the magic keys. Seriously, think of these as your ultimate cheat codes. Instead of fighting your brain's natural wiring, we're going to use a couple of really simple, catchy mnemonics that will lock these 10 essential names into your memory for good. Once you hear these, you honestly won't be able to forget them. Okay, here's option number 1. Imagine a military private, right? And imagine he owns this big, large hall. Private Tim Hall. PVT TIM HALL. Every single letter in this phrase corresponds to one of the 10 essential amino acids. It's a super popular method, and honestly, for a lot of students, just visualizing this specific character and his building is all it takes to recall the whole list when they're sweating through a stressful exam. But there is a second option, and the author of our source material, Abhishek, notes that this one is his personal favorite. Matt will fly. I love this one. It's punchy, it's an action, and it paints this slightly surreal, highly memorable picture in your head of, well, a flying mat. We're going to use the specific mnemonic to break down the actual amino acids, because the way the letters map to the terms here is just a fantastic learning exercise. So if you've got that pen handy, let's see how this builds step by step. We're looking at the first half right now. M-A-T will. M stands for methionine, A is for arginine, T gives us threonine. Now for the word will, we just use the first two letters. W is for tryptophan. Now you might be wondering, why W? Well, biochemists actually use W as the single letter code for tryptophan. Kind of weird, but it works perfectly for us here. And then I stands for isoleucine. So just by picturing a flying mat, you've already locked down half of your essential amino acids. Now let's knock out the second half of the sequence. We're going to finish the word will and add fly. Those two L's, they stand for leucine and lysine. Now pay really close attention to the word fly, because this is where examiners love to test if you actually know your stuff. The F in fly stands for phenylalanine. Yes, I know it starts with a P, but phonetically it sounds exactly like an F, and biochemically its official single-letter code actually is F. Then we have what Abhishek cleverly calls the hidden H, which represents histidine. And finally, rounding out the full expansion, the V gives us valine. And boom, that's it. Matt will fly. You have officially just unlocked all 10. But hold up, we can't stop there. Because if you've been reading a few different biology textbooks, you've probably noticed a really glaring discrepancy. And it is a massive trap that students constantly fall into. You might open one book, and it confidently says there are 8 essential amino acids. Then you open another, and it says 9, and yet another says 10. So what's going on? How can basic biological facts just change from book to book? Well, they don't. This is actually a highly nuanced detail, and let me tell you, it is an examiner's absolute favorite trick question. The confusion across all those textbooks, it actually just comes down to 2 specific culprits, arginine and histidine. These 2 amino acids are basically the wild cards of the whole group. If a textbook says there are 8 essential amino acids, it's because they are leaving these 2 off the list entirely. If a textbook says 10, it's including them. So what's the actual truth here? Why are these 2 treated so differently from the rest of the pack? The answer lies in this really fascinating biological gray area. Arginine and histidine actually belong to a subcategory known as semi-essential. Now, this is a brilliant concept to understand if you want to elevate your knowledge way beyond just basic memorization. Semi-essential means that your body's ability to synthesize these 2 amino acids isn't fixed. It fluctuates. Whether or not you can make them yourself depends entirely on your specific stage of physical growth or your current physical condition. Let's actually walk through a real-life timeline to see exactly how this works. Think about a newborn baby for a second. An infant's body is growing and developing so incredibly fast that it literally cannot manufacture arginine or histidine at all. For that baby, those 2 are 100% essential. They absolutely must get them from milk. Now fast forward. As we grow into healthy adults, our systems mature, and we actually start producing enough arginine and histidine on our own. So for a typical adult, they flip to being non-essential. But wait, look at step 3. During extremely demanding physical stages, like, say, a mother who is pregnant or lactating, the body's requirement for protein shoots up so dramatically that internal production just can't keep pace. Suddenly, the mother has to get them from her diet again. They switch right back to being essential. So what is your game plan for exam day? Here is the ultimate actionable tip to keep you safe. Don't stress out over whether to write 8 or 10. Just club them all into the group of 10 for a complete, comprehensive understanding. Use Matt will fly to recall the full list. And if the test tries to trip you up about that textbook discrepancy, you now have the perfect answer. You can confidently explain the semi-essential rule and show the examiner you truly understand how incredibly adaptable the human body is. Now, before we wrap this up, our source material drops one final, super practical truth bomb. Mastering biology isn't just about reading words on a page. It requires actually taking care of the organ that's doing all that heavy lifting, your brain. You need to actually consume those essential amino acids through good, healthy food, maintain proper nutrition, and, for the love of biology, optimize your sleep cycle. A tired brain simply cannot consolidate memories, no matter how good your cheat codes are. So there you have it. We've broken down the science, we've revealed the cheat codes, and we've totally cleared up that textbook confusion. Now, I want to pass it right back to you. I want you to actively think about this so it really sticks. Look at the 2 options we covered today. Which mnemonic is locking into your brain faster, Matt will fly or PVT TIM HALL? Pick your favorite right now, write it down, and you are officially one major step closer to mastering this topic. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other impossibly complex biological mysteries are just sitting there, waiting for the right code to be cracked? Thanks so much for joining this explainer, and keep on learning.